Hello, welcome back to Zarnock Gaming. My name is Trenton Von Zarnock, and today we're going to be taking a look at the current season's Epic 2 Rogal Dorn. But first, I once again want to thank everyone who put in my referral code. I got a couple off my last video, but the most helpful thing you could do to support me is please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Trying to hit 1K subs sometime in the next month here. I'm trying to put out a couple of Guild videos a week. So I'll get in the Hobby Hub when I can, but the best way to get access to my videos is to subscribe, and that's also the best way you can support me if you like the content I'm putting out. So we're going to be taking a look at the Epic 2 Rogal Dorn fight, and I will be using D3 Ragnar, Aeon Shi, and Athana, Calgar, and Eldron. We're going to take a lot of time talking about movement here, and let's jump right into the replay. Alright, we're going to be taking a look here at the Epic Dorn for the current season, and we're going to do a lot of talking about Dorn's movement here, since that is what I believe most people struggle with on this boss, is his movement, his turning, how you can predict it, and how you can manipulate it. So you'll see I'm using my team that I use for Legendary Dorn here, so my damage numbers are going to be pretty high. Using a D3 Ragnar, I put a knife on him for Dorn. I do this only for Dorn. I use a gun on him the rest of the time. But and use, oh, there we go. Why is that number wrong? So I use a gun on him the rest of the time, but only against Dorn, because he can get buffed by Athana, as well as the rear of Dorn to get up to 95% crit while wearing a knife, and over 100% crit on the 2 turns that he uses his active. So what you really need to know about Dorn is very, very predictable. He's going to move into this tile 3 forward, and he's always going to move 3 forward. He then will need to turn into a direction where he can move 3 forward. So he won't turn north because he can't move 3 forward there. He won't turn to this side because he can't move 3 forward there. So from here, he's always going to either turn down or turn into this direction so that he can move 3 this way. I'm intentionally going to manipulate him to move down because I'm going to place my units here along the side with 1 unit down in Gunner's Kill on sight, maybe 2, I don't remember, and the rest of my units on the side able to get behind him and deactivate his Gunner's Kill on sight. So let's take a look at what this looks like in practice. Oh yeah, I believe I leave 2 in Gunner's Kill on sight here. 3 even. So now we get plus 50% crit from the backside, meaning that Athana has 85% chance of critting, and Marnius Calgar has actually, once we get under Path of Command with the plus 20%, and he's already at 35, that will put him at 105% chance of critting. So he'll have 100% chance of critting from behind. So assuming that I don't have really bad luck with Athana, which I don't, I'm guaranteed to remove Gunner's Kill on sight. Now, again, we know that the boss is going to move 1, 2, 3 into these tiles. From these tiles, he can do a 180 and turn straight upward, or he can turn to a side. For some reason, he likes turning to a side. And you'll notice I actually move Eldron here into melee, because Eldron in melee under Athana's buff with piercing damage actually had higher damage potential than bypassing armor at range, due to Athana's buff of giving plus 699 damage per hit to Aldari. So the boss moves, and he had just been in Gunner's Kill on sight, so Gunner's Kill on sight is on cooldown, so he's going to ground pound. And ground pounds up, and now we're down here. We have these 3 tiles from which to hit him from behind, and we know he's going to move, once again, 1, 2, 3, and this time Gunner's Kill on Sight will not have been used on the previous turn, and so he's almost guaranteed going to, if I get behind him, he's going to turn around and do Gunner's Kill on Sight. I'm very careful about making my Athana movement first, so that everyone is buffed by Calgar and Athana and Eldryon, and then I start getting crit happy. You can see the damage really piles up with the number of crits here. So we're already over 221k. So the tank moves, and this is a great time to use Ragnar's active for the first time. Again, I make sure that they're buffed by Athana, Calgar, both before they do their hits, and that Eldrion's in range. Movement is super, super important to min-max, and you can see the number of crits there was just insane. And then Athana moves down, and now the tank is going to do a 180 and go Gunner's Kill on Sight. Now this would be a disastrous thing if this was Legendary 4, Legendary 5, and the way to then avoid that would be to make sure that you have, you know, units down here, units up here, a flying unit, someone who can crit from the side and not move and not get run over in the following turn. So for example, I could have attacked with Athana here and Eldryon here. Athana would have done less damage. Eldryon would be buffed by Athana right now. Eldryon would hope to crit, and Athana could jump behind the box, do a second crit, and then I would move these 3 units off to the side out of the range of getting run over, and we'd be fine. But since this boss's Gunner's Kill on Sight doesn't do a lot of damage, 6 hits of hundreds of damage with only 15% Pierce ratio, I'm not overly concerned about it on this run with my strength of units, but that is how I would avoid it. I would put Athana here, Eldryon here, get a crit, and if I don't get a crit with Eldryon, I would hope that I could get a crit with one of my other tankier units in melee, like Ragnar right here, who would also be buffed by Athana. Athana would jump down here and almost certainly get the second crit. All right, so moving units out of the way, keeping them in range of Athana, get the crit right there. Athana jumps to the back, gets the crit, and there's the 2 units that would have crit in the first place, like I talked about. And now we're on our final turn, and we're right behind the boss with our crit zone right here. So I go ahead, excuse me, and I refresh Ragnar, use his active, get Athana in place, get Calgar in place, and then make sure we get Eldryon in place so that both units are buffed by Calgar. Obviously, Aeon's taking a break this round. Ideally, I would have had Aeon's refresh Ragnar last turn so that I could attack with everyone this turn under Ragnar's buff, but I used Aeon's to run around and try and get a crit and failed. So I lost some damage there. And here you can see ending at 513,000. And there you have it, guys. That is my run on the current season's Epic 2 Rogal Dorn. We have quite a few interesting bosses here in the final tier that I hope to do runs on, including Rogal Dorn, Screamer Killer, and Gaz in particular, because those are all bosses I'm super strong on. So once again, please, I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel, and I'll be putting out more videos. I also have a video from last season's Screamer Killer map and last season's Hive Tyrant map, the bridge map, both lined up and ready to come out. I'm just trying to stagger my videos just a little bit, so maybe one later this week and one early next week coming your way. So once again, thank you all so much. Please subscribe to the channel, support me however you can. I appreciate you guys, and happy hunting out there.